Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Oh, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to work on a couple of smaller mixed media pieces for Halloween, and I've got the bottle brush trees that I painted in one of my previous videos. I'll leave a link to that one down below. And I've got these ornaments that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and the bottom comes like this gray color, but I spray painted it, and I need to spray paint that part. So this is going to be done in parts, I think. And I'm thinking I'm going to alcohol ink the top piece so that it's not so bright silver. And what I want to do is create little scenes with, actually let's use this one because I think it still has a little stickiness on it because I was testing something out and no, not at all. All right, so we're going to put a tree in, but we got to decorate the trees first. So that's what we're going to do first. And I've got these out, which is the Tim Holtz Vault Matchbox die set I used to cut some 100-pound heavyweight cardstock to create little sleeves, because we are going to light these trees up with some this is a test one that I made so that we can put the tiny lights in a little drawer and we'll attach our dome on top and put holes in them. And in fact, I drilled holes in the bottom of these. Actually, this is the one I used my drill for, and then this one I used, it's a hole punching tool, and then used a blade to cut it out. Just kind of like got it started most of the way. And then I used a smaller one for this because I realized that one was a little big. So to recap, the pre-prep on this is I started spray painting and need to finish spray painting the bottoms of our domes. And I already cut holes in them because what we'll do is we'll thread the light up through the hole and wrap it around our tree to make these light up. So let me set the lights aside for now, because what we're going to work on is decorating our 3 trees. Now, for the purple tree, I took these are the baubles, not the bubbles, because the bubbles are clear and the baubles are pearl, and these are from Tim Holtz Ideaology. This is the Christmas release, so they're pearl, which I figured was going to show up better on our trees than than the bubbles that I did in my previous video. See, yeah, you don't see the color very much, whereas if you use a bauble, that really does show up. So let's start with the purple tree is getting the bubbles. And I'm just gonna grab, I think we're gonna use, I'm trying to decide what I think will work best for this. Let's try some Distress Collage medium. It's a little heavier duty than like my art glitter glue. Ooh, and that was a lot that came out. All right, let's dump these out so I can grab them more easily. On the plus side, it will dry clear, so we're just gonna add a few ornaments to our Halloween tree. I'm just gonna hold that for a little bit, let it grab. It's gonna be one of those afternoons or evenings, actually, because yeah, it's been a day. Bird escaped from the yard. I got him back, and went out to fill in where he dug out of the yard from. And my dad had been over yesterday to let the dogs out because I was at a conference, and so was gone all day. And I don't usually lock the doorknob lock on my back door. I just use the deadbolt. But he locked it. So when I shut the door to keep the dogs from coming out with me when I went in the yard to fill in the hole they had made, or Bert had made, I locked myself out of the house. So I had to call my dad and get him to come over and let me back into my house. Because, yeah, I got locked out of my own home. I'm feeling that is not going to stay. Feeling that is not going to work. All right, let's find a different spot for Mr. Purple. That's not. This is like really loose. Like that is just disappearing into the tree back there. All right, come on, stay. All right, we're gonna set that aside, and I'll figure out something for the top in a bit. Next, I want to do on this one, I think I'm gonna grab some of the Candies, and I will be right back. I grabbed a couple of Copic markers because I want to color them. And you can color these guys. So I wanted to add some purple and some green. I think I'm gonna keep some of the white, so I'm gonna go every other one. Trying not to get my head in the way. But yet again, I forgot to grab my reading glasses. Got a purple one. I'm gonna do a green one. And I'm gonna end up cutting them in half this way, which I'll show you in a minute, so that I don't have to use quite so many of them to get our tree covered. So I'm gonna color 2 more in. Actually, let's go with a thicker one. It'll be easier to cut. I'm gonna let my dog out, and then I'm gonna finish coloring 2 more of those. We'll cut them in half, and that should be good enough to decorate our orange tree. Okay, so I finished coloring those. Dog did not want out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put them on their side. We're gonna take an X-Acto blade. We're gonna take our reverse tweezers to keep our fingers out of the way. And we are going to saw through the Candies. I should have gotten a bigger blade. There we go. And so we had 1, and now we have 2, and we can put those on. Oh yeah, that's gonna look cool. So let's go ahead and do the other ones. I think I'm gonna grab a couple candy corns. You know what? Actually, I think I'm gonna put a candy corn on the top. That's what we're gonna do. I lost the blade cover, so I made one out of duct tape. So if you were like, what on earth is that? I lost the blade cover. So now we just need to glue our pieces on. And I think for these, I'm gonna put the collage medium on there, and I'm kind of wondering if this bottle is so old that it's like separating, like, because it should be thicker than that. Let's try this bottle of glue. Uh-oh. I said that sucker flying. All right. Let's try this again. Because, yeah, it should be more like that than that soup that came out. Make sure it's spread out all over. This way, if only part of it's hitting, it should still grip. And I have a feeling, oh, dagnabbit. All right, I have a feeling this is going to be one of those I need to do like 1 or 2 at a time, let them dry before I move on because they're not sticking very well. So we're going to set him aside, let those guys dry, and come back to him. And what I'm going to do for this guy is take hopefully my awl. Again, use my reverse tweezers to keep my fingers out of the way. And put a hole. I think maybe I need to go this way. Well, that does not get my fingers out of the way as much, but put a hole in the bottom and just kind of work that so that I can kind of shove the top in. And yeah, that's going to need to be a lot bigger. I got to grab my other pokey tool to try doing that, I think, which is not over here. I do have this guy. This guy should work to make that bigger. But it's still not much bigger. All right. Hopefully that's going to work. That I'll be able to kind of cram it on the wire at the top. We may have to futz with that a little bit more. All right, let's try this tree. See if he's going to cooperate. For him, I have die cut some elements from, okay, the bats came from Tim Holtz Sizzix Vault Wicked. That's 666683. The stars are also from that set. I also grabbed some bats from Tim Holtz Sizzix Haunted House, which is 662378. And then the spider is from Creative Expressions Poison Bottles, CEDJR080, in case you are interested. And we are just going to glue. And I did them on scrap pieces of Yupo and inked them with alcohol ink neons. So this will be blacklight reactive. Just putting it on its body because I'm not actually gonna attach the wings. And I have a feeling what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick one on there, stick, let's see, maybe Mr. Spider there, and leave these dry. And then I'll come back and stick the rest on the other sides because, yeah, I think the glue needs to dry before you move on. Well, maybe let's do a star. This is one of those projects that worked way better and was way easier in my head than it's turning out in real life. So yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and once the medium dries, oh, that one's dry. Nope, not quite. Once it's all dry, I'll go around and finish decorating them, and then I'll be back. Okay, so they're all dry, and so here's our candy one. I kind of feel like it needs one right there, but we are gonna wrap it in lights, so there needs to be some space. And there's our little neon one, and since it's alcohol ink neon, it's blacklight reactive, So I wonder how all the glow's showing up on screen. Let's see. Can't tell. Yeah, let's turn out our light. So that you can see, yeah, it glows under the black light. There's a scrap piece. How cool is that? So I really like that. And then we've got our little baubles. Now for this one, I decided I want to put some of the flowers I colored on top. And I figured 3 would cover around. And I'm just going to trim a little bit more of this off. We're going to try gluing them together. So this is going to be another one where I should have gone ahead and done it and just told you about it, because now I'm going to need to leave to let this dry. I'm going to set that one aside. And we'll come back and do that in a sec. And for this one, I think I'm going to do just a little bit of trimming at the top. And then we can cram our little candy corn on. And we're going to just add a little glue to that. Cramming it down. And I finished spray painting the bottoms for these and didn't bring them over. All right, I'm gonna need to grab that, set that aside and that guy aside, and do our matchbox for holding the lights. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna assemble one on camera, and you could of course create this just using your own paper, because this is essentially a, what is it? It's 1, 2, 3, about 4.5 inches. And so the sides of it are about 1/2 inch. So yeah, you could just score a piece of paper to create this little part. Creating the matchbox bit involves a little bit more effort, but it can be done. But I figure I bought this die set. I'm gonna use my die sets. Try to be better about using my stuff. Because I get this stuff and I have all these ideas and I'm gonna make all these things, and then I never get around to making half the things I planned on making when I bought it. And yeah, so use what you have. I'm gonna use my art glitter glue and just add glue to this section. Close it like so. Just kind of hold it in place for a sec. I'm gonna grab a bone folder and just kind of go in and make sure it's pressed down. So you could conceivably just stop there. Oh no, I did it and I forgot I needed to mark where the hole goes. Yikes. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, so what I meant to do was I meant to take that and this and line that up about where I want it to go. Let's do our folds first. All right, I meant to go like this, figure out where that was gonna go on the box, and then take a white pen and put a mark so I know where to put the hole so they'll line up properly. But I got carried away and didn't do that. I should still be able to, for this one, let's see, it's gonna go there. It just might be harder to put the hole in. hopefully we can get, okay, it goes all the way through, excellent. And I think that hole is going to be big enough. We'll just use this strand to test it out. Yep, okay. And now we can do this one when it's flat before we assemble the box. All right, I'm gonna set that one aside for a sec, and I'm gonna show you the box part assembly. Just fold those guys in. And then you just put glue on all these little flaps. And there we go. This, well, should fit nicely if I assembled it correctly. Uh-oh, we're sticking a little, there we go. This one's a little snug fit, but there we go. So we can stick our mechanism inside for our lights, and then it'll line up. Of course, I did these where I did them so that they would line up right, and now I'm like, okay, so this is this one, because they will line up based on where it was supposed to go on here, and that is not lining up exactly right. Because it should be over a little bit more. So just trying to, it's close enough. That's close enough. Maybe we'll pull this out and grab our thing and make the hole just a hair bigger so that if we shift it a little bit when we glue, it won't be an issue. All right, so then that will go on like so, and our lights will come in and out. And then our tree will sit there, and this will go on top. Okay, let's set all that stuff aside for a sec and color these. And I'm just trying to decide if I want to use alcohol ink markers or I like Tim Holtz alcohol inks. I think we're going to just use the Tim Holtz alcohol inks. And you should be able to pinch these guys enough so that that comes out completely. Let's bring over our glass mat so we don't make a mess on our regular mat. And grab, and stop doing that because that is not a pleasant sound. And then that, and I'm gonna grab a brush and just kind of pull it down. All right, that worked really well. I like how that came out. All right, I am gonna do the rest of the caps basically the same way. I may do on the inside because that'll show too. Actually, let's do that. I don't even need to grab any more ink. I can just pick up what's on here. Ooh, it was not dry on the outside and I rubbed my fingers all over it and made a mess. Whoops. All right, I think that's good. I'm gonna set that one aside, let it dry completely. I'm gonna clean up my mess and do the rest of the tops and assemble the rest of these, and then we will come back and finish these off. One more thing I want to do before we do final assembly is just put a little bit of black paint. So I'm grabbing some Distress Black Soot, and I'm just gonna give this a quick coat of black paint just so that it doesn't stand out in the bottom of the piece. So I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna finally assemble these guys. Okay, so it's time for final assembly. I put the tops back on and I love how they look. So fabulous. And I did start on camera doing the final assembly on this one, and we were way on the struggle bus on that one, and so I decided I'd edit that out and start over and show you the final assembly using this guy. So we're gonna do the purple tree. I've got purple tiny lights. So step one is we need our lights to go up through our box. So I'm gonna thread them through from the inside out, like so. Then I'm gonna take this guy. He's gonna fit in here, but I need to do something with all the excess. So what we're gonna do is basically wrap some of the tiny lights around. And we're gonna use them to kind of hold that in place so that we can stick it in there and it'll sit in nicely. And then we're gonna slide our box inside if it'll cooperate. There we go. Box slides in, and you can slide it out to change out the batteries. Next, we're going to slide it through our bottom. And there we go. And now we need to glue the bottom to our Matchbox. So I'm just going to lift it up, and I'm going to use some E6000, and I've got black. I accidentally bought a thing of black, so we're going to get that getting covered. And while that's drying, we are going to wrap the lights inside the bottom. And yes, tiny lights are on wires, but they've been crimped up, wrapped around each other for so long, they tend to do that. So to keep them from doing that, I'm just going to take a little bit of tape and tape them in place. We're going to be putting something over them to diffuse the light, so that'll also help keep them from springing up. But yeah, I need them out of the way. So we're going to tape those suckers down. And I'm putting the tape on the wire, not the lights. I don't know that they get hot enough that it'd be an issue, but I figure better safe than sorry. This guy needs to come up a little bit more. There we go. And yeah, my paint job is coming up on the bottom of this. And I don't know why, because I use Rust-Oleum that's supposed to be a black primer and adhere to plastic, but yeah, it's scratching off. Not too worried about it because I don't know that it's going to be all that noticeable, but it is kind of annoying. All right, I think we're going to stop there. Put a little tape on over here. And I need to go deal with the black one. For some reason, the E6000 is not sticking him down. He's not staying stuck. I think we're gonna try adding a little bit more. Let's just... I'm gonna set him aside. We are gonna add some E6000 to the bottom of him. And stick him in there. And hopefully you saw that I just put some on the bottom of the wood slice that he's on and stuck him down. You could use hot glue. I tend to find I have issues with my hot glue failing lately. I don't know what it is. And I've bought new glue. I've bought new glue guns. Doesn't matter. My hot glue seems to fail. So I tend to avoid using it. Except in limited circumstances. All right, let's leave those alone. When they're dry, we'll come back. And what I'm gonna do is take circles of printed vellum and glue them to the base of the tree to hide, like diffuse the light of the tiny lights. So that's what we'll do when we come back, and then we'll be able to screw on our top pieces and we will have a couple little trim bits and then we'll be done. Okay, so we are all dried. Our tree is glued down. I think I'm gonna do a little bit more taped down at the bottom. And my desk is like utter chaos because I've got about a half dozen planned projects half started all over the place. Now let's wrap it around our tree. Let's see how those lights look. Yep, more line. Just adjusting the placement a little bit so we don't have, you know, a bunch of lights bunched up together. I think we're good. They're pretty well spread out. I feel like I need one over here a little more. Turn off our lights since they're kind of blinding, and I've got my piece of vellum, and what I found I did one off camera is that I think it works better if I cut it into like wedges and glue each wedge to the base and then to each other. Yeah, I found with the other one I needed like an extra piece. Now we can put our top back on. And I want to do one more thing, and that's put a little ribbon along the bottom and tie a little bow in the top there. Let's do that. Yep, okay. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. Although I think it'll be easier if I figure out how much I need and cut a piece off. And then if I do it on the thread. And we're just gonna do a little bit like that. So there we go. This one is finished. You can add the ribbon to this guy too. That one's good to go, and I still have the orange one to assemble, but I ran out of tiny lights and I'm waiting for my order to arrive with them. So once they arrive, I will finish assembling this one, and then I'll show you what all three of them look like finished and together. So I've got them in the light box. This way I can have them standing right side up. They're showing up a lot darker on camera than in real life. I did run into a bit of an issue with the candy corn one in that when I went to go put it in, it was too tall, so I had to kind of rig up some candy corn for the top. And this is our purple tree with flowers and the baubles on it. And this one's the one that's black light reactive because I use the neon alcohol inks to do the critters, and I will turn on their lights so you can see what they look like lit up. Here they are all lit up, and there they are without a light on them, and I love how they came out. I so need to go back to the Dollar Tree and pick up some more of these ornaments and do some Christmassy ones. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.